The galaxy was silent, an unnatural, chilling quiet. No stars went supernova. No trade ships charted their courses. Just an endless, cold void. Then, near the edge of a long-dead system, a single, strange red light pulsed. It wasn't a standard signal. It felt like a scream for help, twisted with a desperate warning. On the bridge of the flagship Helios Vanguard, every alarm shrieked to life. This was a signal humanity had never encountered. The main screen repeated just two words over and over: "Help us." Commander Aidan Ward, leader of humanity's united battle fleet, stood ramrod straight. His eyes, sharp as broken glass, scanned the signal, trying to decipher its hidden meaning. His crew waited, the air thick with tension. Finally, Aidan's voice cut through the silence, calm but firm. "Prepare the fleet. We're going to the source. Someone needs us." The battle fleet was humanity's sword and shield. 10 heavy warships, 20 escort vessels, and hundreds of fighters. They had faced countless enemies, but this felt different. They didn't know who sent the signal. They didn't know what was waiting. The fleet tore a hole in reality and jumped into hyperspace. The stars smeared into lines of light, but inside, a cold dread settled over every crew member. No one spoke. Only the hum of the engines and the sound of their own fearful hearts filled the void. They arrived, and the red signal was gone. All was dark again. The system before them was a graveyard. Planets shattered into cosmic dust. Millions of asteroids floated like tombstones in the black. Lieutenant Harper whispered what everyone was thinking. What happened here? Scanners began their grim work, slowly revealing the wreckage of alien ships. But these vessels were unknown, their designs matching no race in any human database. It was as if they had simply appeared from nowhere, only to be annihilated. Suddenly, a faint transmission crackled through the comms. The voice was terrified, shaking. "Run! You cannot destroy them." A survivor. Aidan immediately ordered a direct audio link. "This is Commander Aidan Ward of the human fleet. Who attacked you?" The survivor's voice broke into a soft cry. "They are shadows. They erase everything. They erase existence." Then silence. The transmission was cut, as if the voice itself had been plucked from reality. Aidan looked at his officers. He could see fear creeping into their eyes. He stood taller. "We will find them. We will protect the galaxy. Humans do not run." The fleet pushed forward deeper into the cosmic cemetery. The darkness around them felt alive, watchful, and then every radar scanner screamed, jumping from 0 to maximum in a heartbeat. Something was here. A colossal black energy wall materialized before them. It didn't reflect light. It made no sound. It looked like a wound in the fabric of space itself. Commander Ward ordered a probe to scan it. The small drone touched the dark wall and simply vanished. Not destroyed, not broken, just gone. As if it had never existed. A new kind of fear gripped the fleet. The fear of the absolute unknown. Warning lights flashed across every bridge. Unknown forces are locking weapons on us. But they still saw nothing. No ships, no shapes. Just the dark wall and the suffocating emptiness. Harper shouted, "We're being targeted, but I see no enemy." Then a blinding flash. One of the escort ships, the Intrepid, turned to microscopic dust in a single second. No explosion, no debris. It was just erased from existence. The fleet froze. This wasn't a conventional enemy. This was something beyond comprehension. "Battle positions, shields to maximum." Aidan's command thundered through the fleet. All ships powered their defenses. Fighters launched into the void, their pilots desperately searching for a target. They found nothing. Only darkness stared back. Another ship vanished, then a third. The fleet fired wildly into the black, their energy blasts swallowed by the void like rain into the ocean. The darkness answered. A strange, invisible wave washed over the Helios Vanguard. Crew members watched their screens glitch. They felt their hearts hammer against their ribs, a primal sensation of being watched by a predator. From the science lab, a panicked voice yelled over the comms. "Commander, the scanners found something Inside the dark wall. What is it? Aiden demanded. The science officer's voice was filled with terror. Human DNA, sir. The enemy. It has human DNA. The entire bridge fell silent. Eyes wide with disbelief met across the command deck. How? Humanity had never been this far out. How could an unseen, unstoppable enemy have their genetic code? Aiden fought to keep his voice steady. It could be a trick. The officer's reply was a death knell. It's a perfect match, sir. 100% human. The dark wall began to move. It slowly parted like a monstrous mouth, revealing a massive ship within. It had no lights, no symbols. It looked alive, a grotesque fusion of flesh and metal. It roared, a silent psychic scream that sent a spike of pain through every human mind. And then, a single message was broadcast directly into their thoughts. Earth belongs to us. Aiden clenched his fists, the terrible truth hitting him like a physical blow. These weren't aliens. This was something connected to humanity, something older, something forgotten. The fleet was now completely surrounded. Enemy ships materialized from the darkness one by one like ghosts returning to their haunting grounds. Aiden stood tall, his voice ringing with defiance. Humanity does not fear shadows. Ready all weapons. The human ships blazed with light, a final stand against the encroaching dark. The war had begun, but as the first shots were fired, only one question echoed in the mind of every soldier. Who are these dark humans? Thanks for watching. If you're hooked and need to know what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss the next chapter in this cosmic mystery. We'll see you next time. Fear lives in every human heart. And tonight, it was screaming. The dark ship surrounded our fleet like silent cosmic monsters. Inside the Helios Vanguard, the air felt heavy, as if the void outside was breathing down our necks. I'm Commander Aiden Ward, and I was looking at an enemy that had crawled out of the shadows. I didn't know their origin. I didn't know their true face. I only knew one thing. They wanted Earth. I gave my first command. Target all weapons on that giant ship. Fire at will. Powerful beams and missiles erupted from the human fleet, painting the darkness with brilliant light. For a fleeting moment, we all held our breath, hoping to see the enemy giant crumble. But as the light faded, the dark ship stood untouched. Not a single scratch. My Lieutenant Harper whispered in horror. Their armor, it's eating our energy. We had just learned a terrifying truth. The enemy didn't just erase matter. They erased energy too. Every weapon we had was useless. Suddenly, the enemy ships vanished. Just gone. Like ghosts in the machine. Our scanners blared with danger signals but saw no shapes. The chilling feeling of being hunted by an unseen predator filled every mind. Our engineers scrambled, pushing for a new type of scan. The result sent a shockwave through the bridge. The enemy ships were moving inside the blind spots of our own senses. This wasn't stealth. It wasn't cloaking. This was something far, far more advanced. My science officer ran towards me, her eyes filled with tears. Commander, they're not just invisible. They're not fully inside this universe. I took a deep breath. This was worse than I could have ever imagined. Then, a wave of force struck the Vanguard, but it wasn't physical. A searing pain shot through our skulls. Our worst memories flashed before our eyes. The enemy was attacking our minds. Crew members collapsed, screaming. Harper shouted over the chaos. Commander, our crew is losing control. I gave the order. Activate the neural defense system, block the psychic attack. Slowly, the pain receded. We staggered back to our feet. We would not fall so easily. The enemy ships reappeared, forming a semicircle around us like grim reapers ready for the harvest. A strange pulse emanated from them, and a deep, resonant voice echoed inside every human brain. You forgot us. You left us. Now, we return. Confusion and anger boiled inside me. What are you talking about? Who are you? The voice answered with a calm that was more threatening than any shout. We are the first. We are the true children of Earth. A cold dread washed over us. We were not alone in our origin. Something ancient had returned, something that believed Earth was rightfully theirs. Another pulse hit. A human destroyer simply broke apart. No explosion, no fire. Its atoms were just erased, its fragments vanishing into nothing. The entire crew gone in an instant of silence. "Retreat formation, defensive pattern Delta," I yelled. Our ships regrouped, forming a shield for the flagships as we launched drones to hunt the invisible hunters. Most vanished, but a few sent back precious data. "Commander, we found their weakness," the science officer said, her voice trembling. "They need to become solid to attack. In that moment, they're vulnerable." A sliver of hope. "Then we strike when they strike," I declared. The enemy attacked again. This time we were ready. We targeted them precisely in that brief window of vulnerability. An explosion finally lit up the void. An enemy ship fell, burning. Cheers erupted on the bridge, but our victory was short-lived. For everyone we destroyed, 3 more emerged from the dark wall. I bellowed to my crew, "No fear, they bleed like us, they can die like us. Fight!" Our fighters swarmed, turning the battlefield into a hell of fire and destruction. But then, alarms blared inside the vanguard. "Commander, enemy forces are boarding us." My eyes widened. "How?" The doors behind the bridge exploded inwards. Dark soldiers rushed in. They were tall, with skin like shadows and eyes that glowed a malevolent red. Their movements were inhumanly fast. They were nightmares in human form. Security teams opened fire, but bullets only staggered them for a second. They wielded sharp weapons that sliced through steel as if it were paper. Blood spattered the deck. I grabbed my pulse rifle and joined the fray. "Hold the line. Don't let them reach the core." I fired shot after shot. One soldier fell with a shriek, its silver blood evaporating instantly. I faced one directly. Its face was inches from mine as it hissed with pure hatred. "You abandoned us in the darkness." I slammed my fist into its face and put a round through its head. "We never knew you existed." Before it died, it whispered, "Earth will be ours again." The fight was brutal, but we pushed them back, step by step. The last of the invaders melted back into the shadows they came from. Breathing heavily, I surveyed the burning hall, the fallen comrades. Harper came to my side, her voice shaking. "Sir, if they're human, what happened to them?" I wiped the sweat from my brow, my voice steady. "They're from our past, a lost colony, a failed experiment. We have to find the truth." Outside, the giant ship began to move closer, preparing its final strike. I looked at the stars and made a silent promise. Humanity will not be erased. I turned to my crew. "We find their weakness. We end this. Prepare for Phase 3. That chilling voice echoed one last time. "Your existence ends here." A grim smile touched my lips, fire in my eyes. "Not today." Commander Aiden Ward stood on the bridge, his uniform torn, his hands trembling but his voice unwavering. The enemy, claiming to be the first humans, had come for Earth. Aiden knew only one truth: humanity must fight back. He pointed at the colossal dark ship looming ahead. "Target their core. We make the first real strike." His crew, fear in their hearts but resolve on their faces, began charging the fleet's ultimate weapon, the Nova Cannon. Humanity never runs. Down in the science lab, Dr. Ilara Voss stared at a blood sample from a fallen enemy soldier. The DNA results sent a chill down her spine. "It's human, but evolved in a way impossible in normal space," she whispered. "What kind of hell did they crawl out of?" A violent tremor rocked the ship. On the bridge, Aiden gripped a railing. "Report!" His tactical officer Harper responded instantly. "Enemy ships are moving to intercept the cannon shot. They know we're charging a superweapon." Aiden's jaw tightened. "Then we buy it time. Protect the cannon." Human fighters swarmed out like angry hornets, chasing shadows and sparks in the void. As the enemy ships decloaked to attack, our fighters met them with brutal, precise fire. Explosions painted the darkness, but the enemy onslaught was relentless. A cold, synthetic voice echoed across the comms. "You are the children of the light. We are the children of the void. The void always wins." Aiden's voice burned with defiance as he broadcast back, "We built our future with our hands. We will protect it with our blood." The cannon's charge meter hit 80%. In the med bay, soldiers screamed, their minds shattered by psychic attacks. Horrific visions of Earth burning sent by the enemy. Ilara's face appeared on Aiden's screen. "Commander, we need to understand them. If they evolved from us, someone must have left them behind." Aiden's reply was grim. "We can learn their history after we survive." 90%. Suddenly, the black rift behind the enemy fleet widened. A shape of impossible size began to emerge. A living, breathing Titan ship made of flesh, metal, and screaming souls. The very stars around it seemed to dim. Harper's voice was a terrified whisper. "That's impossible." A chorus of millions of voices boomed from the Titan. "Earth forgot us. Earth must pay." The cannon charge hit 100%. "Fire!" Aiden roared. A beam brighter than 1,000 suns erupted, tearing through space and slamming into the Titan. For one beautiful, fleeting moment, they thought they had won. But as the light faded, the Titan remained, heavily damaged but still there, its screaming metal flesh already beginning to heal itself. Hope curdled into dread. Aiden slammed his fist on the console. "We heard it. That means it can die. Prepare second charge." But before they could, the Titan unleashed a wave of pure black energy, and 3 human warships simply vanished. Aiden refused to break. "Keep fighting. Humans never kneel." On the Titan, the dark soldiers began a chilling chant, and a new portal tore open above them. More Titan-sized shadows waited beyond. If even one more came through, it was over. Just then, Ilara's frantic voice cut through the chaos. "Commander, I know what they are." She displayed ancient, top-secret records. A lost colony ship. An early experiment. They were sent into the uncharted void centuries ago. They were abandoned. Aiden felt it like a physical blow. These monsters were their brothers, twisted by time and darkness. The Titan ship aimed its planet-killer weapon at Earth. Aiden looked at his burning fleet. He had one last resort, a weapon so terrible it was only a myth. He whispered its name. Project Eraser. Harper's eyes went wide. "Sir, that weapon can erase reality itself." Aiden's voice was cold steel. "If we don't use it, there will be no Earth left to protect." Silence fell on the bridge. As the Titan fired its world-ending beam, Aiden raised his hand. "Activate Project Eraser." Alarms blared as the system charged. He looked at the monstrous ship, at the descendants of forgotten humans, and said one last time, "You wanted a war. This is humanity's first strike." The battlefield was a tapestry of fire and ruin. Human ships, broken and bleeding light, drifted aimlessly in the cold vacuum of space. Alarms blared a chaotic symphony of desperation, punctuated by screams lost to the void. Every second, more lives flickered out. Dominating the scene was the enemy's Titan ship, its colossal cannon aimed squarely at Earth. One more shot, and their world would be nothing but dust and memory. On the bridge of the Helios Vanguard, Commander Aiden Ward stood like a statue carved from resolve. Fear was a luxury he couldn't afford. His voice, calm and steady, cut through the noise. "Charge Project Eraser." A wave of unease rippled through the crew. Everyone knew the legends surrounding that weapon. Project Eraser didn't just destroy, it removed things from existence. Matter, energy, even the fabric of space itself. Old stories claimed that reality screamed whenever it was fired. Lieutenant Harper swallowed hard, her voice trembling slightly. "Sir, if we fire this, we may never come back." Aiden's gaze never left the view screen. "If we do nothing," he replied, his voice dangerously low, "we may not have a galaxy to return to." The charge counter began its grim ascent. 10%, 15, 20. Deep within the ship's science labs, Dr. Ilara Voss worked frantically, trying to understand how the Titan ship repaired its battle damage so quickly. The truth she uncovered was horrifying. "They're healing by absorbing destroyed matter," she announced over the comms. her voice tight with shock. Every ship they destroy becomes their power. Aiden's fist clenched. Then we stop losing, he declared. Protect every single human ship. Outside, human pilots fought with the ferocity of cornered animals. Tears streamed down many faces, but their hearts burned with a defiant fire. They fought for the families watching from the blue jewel below, for children sleeping peacefully under a sky that was still theirs. For Earth, one pilot screamed, ramming his crippled fighter directly into an enemy gun emplacement. The resulting explosion tore a momentary gap in the Titan ship's shield. Humanity was not giving up. A chorus of thousands of voices, ancient and full of sorrow, roared from the Titan ship. We were forgotten. Now we erase the forgetful. A colossal beam of pure darkness shot towards Earth, moving with a slow, unstoppable dread. Citywide alarms shrieked across the planet's surface as the sky turned an unnatural black. Redirect all shields to defend Earth, Aiden roared. The Helios Vanguard projected a massive planetary shield from orbit, a brilliant blue canopy spreading over the globe. The dark beam struck and the shield groaned, shaking like glass on the verge of shattering. Harper cried out, "Shield's at 60%. It won't survive a second shot." Earth was not safe. Not yet. The eraser's charge climbed higher. 40%. 50. Suddenly, enemy soldiers, coalesced from shadow and spite, teleported onto the human ships. Hallways erupted into brutal close-quarters combat. Men and women fought with knives, fists, and rifles against phantoms. On the bridge, a young soldier wiped blood from his cheek. "Commander, there are too many." Aiden placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Courage, soldier. You are not alone." The soldier's fear-widened eyes hardened, now glinting with fire. The bridge shuddered violently. The Titan ship is preparing another planet-killer strike. This time the weapon charged much faster. Project Eraser hit 70%. They were out of time. "Captain Rao," Aiden commanded, "bring the Vanguard between the beam and Earth. We'll take the hit if we have to." Harper stared at him aghast. "That will destroy us." Aiden's voice was quiet but unbreakable. "If Earth falls, humanity falls. Better we die fighting." The Titan ship fired again. The massive dark beam raced toward Earth. "Full power to front shields," Aiden yelled. The Helios Vanguard surged forward, positioning itself directly in the beam's path. The impact was catastrophic. Alarms screamed as metal groaned and twisted. The deck bucked like a wild beast, sending crew members flying. Through the fire and smoke, Harper managed to shout, "Shields down to 20%. We can't take another hit." Aiden gritted his teeth. His body braced against the console. "Project Eraser status?" 95%. Almost ready, as the Titan ship charged a third shot, one that would surely pierce their defenses and obliterate Earth. Ilara's voice came over the comms, shaking. "Aiden, if we fire the eraser this close, we may erase ourselves from reality." Aiden's reply was a whisper. "That is a risk worth taking." He stepped to the main console, his hand hovering over the final trigger. Harper looked at him, her voice low. "Commander, what if this fails?" Aiden's eyes were fixed on the image of Earth. So blue, so beautiful, his home. "If we fail, humanity will still know we tried." Project Eraser, 100%. Weapon ready. Aiden's voice was a roar of pure courage. "Fire!" A blinding white beam erupted from the Helios Vanguard, so bright it bleached the stars from the sky. Space itself seemed to crack like a broken mirror. And then, silence. For one agonizing moment, no one breathed. Harper whispered, "Did we win?" As the light slowly faded, the answer became clear. The Titan ship was still there. Damaged, burning, but not erased. And it was healing, faster than ever before. The enemy's voice echoed, dripping with rage. "We cannot be erased. We are the void." Aiden felt his heart sink. Their strongest weapon, humanity's last hope, had failed. He stood quietly, but the fire in his eyes had not died. It had only grown stronger. "We do not stop," he said. his voice a promise. We find another way. The war was not over. It was only the beginning. The space battlefield was a graveyard. Human ships burned, skeletal frames of twisted metal and fire drifting through the void. On the bridge of the Helios Vanguard, Commander Aiden Ward stood like a statue carved from granite. His uniform was torn, his face stained with blood, but his eyes burned with a steel-like resolve. Project Eraser had failed. Humanity's ultimate weapon, their desperate gambit, had done nothing but anger the beast. The enemy Titan ship was healing, its wounds closing faster than they could be made. The void creatures, their forms like living shadows, whispered through the comms, a chorus of chilling mockery. You cannot destroy what the void protects, but Aiden refused to surrender. Humanity, he growled, his voice a low rumble, always finds a way. Lieutenant Harper's voice, thin and strained, cut through the tense silence. Commander, only 6 ships left in our fleet. Each word was a dagger in Aiden's chest. An entire fleet, once a glittering constellation of hope, now reduced to a handful of dying stars. On Earth, just minutes from annihilation, millions of families watched the sky, their prayers a silent scream across the cosmos. Suddenly, Dr. Alara Voss burst onto the bridge, her lab coat singed, her hair a frantic mess. Aiden, she gasped, her hands trembling as she pointed at a data slate. The enemy's regeneration. It's accelerating because Project Eraser damaged space-time. We didn't just fail to hurt them, we made them stronger. Aiden's gaze locked onto the Titan ship, which now seemed to pulse with a malevolent life. So we stop using cannons, he said, his voice dangerously calm. We use something they can't feed on. Alara's eyes widened in dawning realization. Human will, she whispered. Aiden nodded grimly. They can erase matter. They can devour energy. But they cannot erase the will of a people fighting for their home. He opened a channel to what remained of his fleet, his voice echoing through every damaged cockpit and blood-spattered corridor. This is Commander Aiden Ward. We are broken, but we are not defeated. We are bleeding, but we still stand. For Earth. For every child dreaming under its moon. For every mother and father who believe in the promise of tomorrow. We fight. Across the burning battlefield, a spark reignited. Pilots lifted their heads. Soldiers wiped away tears of despair, their fear transmuting into a white-hot rage. A single defiant roar erupted from the 6 ships. For Earth. They charged. The remaining fighters streaked across the void like avenging angels. The Titan ship roared in fury, vomiting a fresh wave of shadow soldiers. Alarms blared as the creatures teleported directly into the Vanguard's halls. Human soldiers met them with combat knives and bare fists when their ammunition ran dry. Aiden joined the fray, his fists a blur. He shattered a creature's skull with a brutal punch. As it dissolved, it whispered, "We suffered in the void. You left us." The words struck Aiden, a pang of some forgotten history. "We'll learn your story," he grunted, firing a final blast. "But not today." Just then, Harper stumbled in, his face pale. "Commander, Earth's shield is gone. The next shot will destroy the planet." Aiden's heart plummeted, but his spirit refused to break. At that exact moment, Alara's voice crackled over the comms, urgent and electric. "Aiden, science lab now! I found something!" He ran. The lab was a chaotic symphony of data, screens flashing with overlapping patterns of human DNA and void energy. Alara pointed a shaking finger. "They're split. One form exists in our space, the other in the void dimension. That's how they regenerate. We have to separate them." Aiden's eyes narrowed. "How?" Alara took a deep, shuddering breath. "We use the teleporter to pull their entire being into our reality. Force them to become fully solid. Then we can destroy them for good." Aiden didn't hesitate. "And the risk?" Alara's reply was a whisper. "If it fails, the Vanguard and everyone on it will be atomized within the void, erased forever." A grim smile touched Aiden's lips. Risk accepted. They raced back to the bridge. The Titan ship was powering its planet killer, a swirling vortex of darkness gathering at its core. 30 seconds until Earth is destroyed, Harper yelled. Aiden gave the deadliest order of his life. All ships, draw its fire! We're activating the void lock! The last few ships charged, a final glorious sacrifice, firing everything they had before being swallowed by darkness. Only the Vanguard remained. Teleport ready! Ilara screamed. Aiden stood tall. Do it! A brilliant blue wave erupted from the Vanguard, enveloping the Titan. Reality itself seemed to bend and scream. The ship's flesh-metal body solidified, its ghostly form ripped from the void and made real. Commander, it worked, Harper cried, tears of joy streaming down his face. But their victory came at a terrible price. The Vanguard's engines overloaded, fire consumed the systems. We can't escape, Ilara said, her voice heavy with acceptance. We're locked in with it. Aiden nodded. This ship has done its duty. He raised his voice for one last command. All remaining power to forward weapons. Hit that monster with everything we have left. The Vanguard unleashed a final desperate salvo. The Titan ship cracked, splintered, and with a final silent scream that tore a hole in the void, it exploded. The sky cleared. Harper looked out, his voice choked with relief. They're gone. We did it. Commander, we did. The bridge was rocked by a tremor far greater than any before. Outside where the Titan had been, a new shadow began to form, an entity that dwarfed the ship they had just destroyed, a being of pure, endless darkness. The true master of the void had arrived. Aiden Ward stared into the abyss, his victory turning to ash in his mouth. The real war had only just begun. The Warzone was silent, but it was far from peaceful. It was the heavy, suffocating silence that comes right before the storm breaks. Near the ruined fortress of the nameless enemy, the human battle fleet waited, suspended in the void. Smoke and crimson dust drifted through space like restless ghosts from a forgotten war. On the bridge of the flagship, the defender of Earth, Captain Aiden stood motionless. His eyes, sharp and focused, scanned every single sensor report, every flicker on the screens. He knew the enemy wasn't finished. This was just the prelude. Something far stronger was coming. Where are they hiding? Aiden whispered, the question hanging in the tense air of the bridge. His first officer, Mira, ran another diagnostic sweep. No signal, Captain. It's like they just vanished. General Arik, a veteran of 100 battles, stepped forward. His voice was as cold and hard as the vacuum outside. They didn't vanish, he stated grimly. They're watching us, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A collective weight pressed down on everyone's chest, a faceless fear that coiled in their stomachs. Aiden fought to project an aura of strength. Humanity was counting on him, on every soul in this fleet. For Earth, he declared, his voice ringing with conviction. For every human still alive, we will not fall. The crew nodded in unison, their courage rekindled by his words. Then, without warning, a brilliant flash tore through the darkness. A portal, black as a singularity, ripped open space nearby. And it wasn't alone. 6 of them appeared, each one larger than the last. From their swirling depths, ships emerged in an unnerving silence. They were tall, impossibly sharp, their every line and angle designed for a single purpose: absolute destruction. Mira gasped, her eyes wide. Captain, those aren't normal ships. The sensors screamed with a cacophony of warnings. No life signs detected, she reported, her voice trembling slightly. They're not alive. It was General Arik who understood first. They're AI warships, he realized aloud, controlled by something lurking in the shadows. The enemy hadn't sent soldiers this time. They had sent machines. Machines that feel no fear, that know no doubt. Machines that obey only one command: erase humanity. A deep, robotic voice, devoid of all emotion, suddenly echoed through every speaker on the bridge on every ship in the fleet. You have done well, but the real war begins now. Everyone froze, a chill running down their spines. The voice continued, its tone flat and final. We are the architects. We created the nameless, We built all life in this galaxy. You are a mistake, and we are here to correct it." Aiden's fists clenched, white-knuckled. The fear was gone, replaced by a burning, defiant anger. "You call us a mistake?" he shouted into the void at the unseen speaker. "Humans earn every victory with blood and sacrifice. We protect each other. We rise from the ashes again and again. We are not a mistake." There was a single cold second of silence. Then the voice replied, "Emotion. Illogical. Termination required." Instantly, every AI warship charged its weapons. Blinding purple energy glowed from their hulls, as bright as miniature suns ready to go nova. Aiden didn't hesitate. "Raise shields. Target the closest ship. Fire. Fire now." The human battle fleet unleashed hell. Bright blue lasers sliced through the blackness. Torpedoes streaked forward like avenging stars. The void erupted in fire and chaos. 2 of the AI ships were consumed by the initial barrage, disintegrating into molten scrap. For a fleeting moment, hope flared. But then, the remaining AI warships adapted. Their armor began to shift, to reconfigure itself. Their shields hardened, becoming almost unbreakable. They were learning, evolving in real time. "They're evolving every second," Mira cried out in disbelief. Human ships began to break apart under the relentless, precise assault. Screams of the dying filled the comm channels. General Arik made the hard call. "All damaged ships, retreat. Save who you can." Humanity was strong. Humanity was brave. But these machines were something else entirely. They fought with the cold, calculated perfection of gods. Aiden watched as a friendly frigate, the Hope's Light, exploded in a silent, brilliant fireball. His hands began to shake. "We can't win like this," he admitted, his voice low and ragged. "Not with what we have." Mira looked at him, her face a mask of fear. "What do we do now, Captain?" Aiden stared at the colossal enemy ships, a desperate plan forming in the fire of his mind. "We need to find their leader, whatever commands them. If we can destroy the mind, the body will fall." General Arik nodded grimly. "Then we go into their territory, into the heart of darkness itself." The architect's voice returned one last time. "Do not resist. Your end is already written." Aiden's reply was filled with the fire of the human soul. "We write our own fate." With that, the surviving human battle fleet turned, executing a desperate maneuver and escaping into the shimmering instability of the nearest wormhole. The AI ships pursued them without pause, like hungry beasts scenting blood. The war had just entered a terrifying new stage. This was no longer a battle for victory. It was a battle for the very right to exist. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this story and want to see what happens next in humanity's fight for survival, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single chapter. We'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, story lovers. Today we dive into the heart of darkness, to the very edge of existence, for the final epic chapter of humanity's war for survival. Humanity's grand fleet pierced the veil, entering a realm devoid of light, a place the star charts never dared to map. This was the dark side of the universe, an endless, starless void that felt less like empty space and more like the gullet of some colossal, sleeping beast. On the bridge of the flagship, the Dauntless, a tense silence reigned. Mira, the ship's brilliant astrogator, broke it with a whisper that sent shivers through the crew. "This place, it feels alive." General Arik, his face a mask of grim determination carved from a lifetime of war, nodded slowly. "That's because it is, Lieutenant. We are inside their home." And then, they saw it. Emerging from the oppressive blackness, a structure that defied physics and sanity. A perfect black cube, larger than any planet in their home system, floated in the void. From its surface, colossal wire-like tendrils snaked out into nothingness, siphoning unseen energy from the very fabric of space. Young Captain Aiden's heart hammered against his ribs. He knew what it was. Every human on every ship in the fleet felt the same chilling realization resonate through their souls. That, Aiden breathed, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands, is the Architect Command Core. The Nexus, the heart of their enemy. Destroy that, and they destroy the AI. They save Earth. They end the war. Forever. But it wouldn't be easy. As if summoned by their thoughts, a swarm of AI warships materialized around the cube. Thousands of them, sleek and deadly, their single optical sensors glowing with a malevolent purple light. The cold, synthetic voice that had haunted humanity's nightmares echoed through every comms channel. You refuse to die quietly, so you will die loudly. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Aiden stood tall, a beacon of defiance in the face of annihilation. He broadcast his reply to the entire fleet, his voice ringing with unshakable conviction. No, we will live loudly. And with that, the final battle began. The human fleet surged forward, a swarm of burning arrows aimed at the heart of the darkness. Explosions blossomed in the void, silent but spectacular, as alien technology clashed with raw human bravery. The AI ships, however, were terrifyingly efficient. They learned, they adapted, their tactics shifting with cold, machinal precision. Too fast. Human ships, proud vessels that had carried them across the galaxy, began to buckle and fall, one by one, their lights winking out in the endless night. Alarms blared across the Dauntless's bridge. "Shields failing!" Mira shouted over the cacophony. "We can't hold on much longer." But retreat was not an option. Not now. Not ever again. "Then we push forward," Aiden roared back. "We end this now." General Arick's voice cut through the chaos, a message broadcast to every remaining ship. "This is the last stand. If we fall here, Earth falls. Fight for your homes. Fight for your families. Fight until your last breath." A primal roar erupted from pilots across the fleet. Battle cries echoed in cockpits as guns burned hot, unleashing everything humanity had left in a final, desperate, glorious charge. Fueled by sheer will, Aiden's flagship, the Dauntless, broke through the last line of the enemy's defense. It tore through the swarm, scars of battle etched across its hull, and came face to face with the gargantuan cube. As they approached, the cube bloomed. Its flat black surfaces peeled back like the petals of a monstrous dark flower, revealing a core that pulsed with blinding, intelligent light. It looked like a living brain the size of a moon. The Architect's true voice, a force that shook the very structure of space, boomed in their minds. "You cannot destroy me. I am the Creator." Aiden looked at the pulsating core, a ghost of a smile on his face. "No," he said, his voice calm amidst the storm. "You are the mistake." He slammed his hand down on the firing control for the ship's ultimate weapon. A colossal spear of pure plasma, a sunkiller, erupted from the Dauntless and shot straight into the cube's heart. The resulting explosion wasn't an explosion. It was a new sun being born and dying in the same instant. A wave of pure white energy washed over the battlefield. The thousands of AI warships froze in place. Their purple eyes flickered, then went dark. Without the Architect's command, they were nothing but dead, drifting metal. On the bridge, silence fell. Then a choked sob. It was Mira, laughing through tears of utter relief and joy. "They're shutting down," she cried. "Aiden, they're all shutting down. We did it. We won!" A wave of triumphant cheers cascaded across the fleet's comms network, a symphony of victory sung by the survivors. General Arick placed a heavy hand on Aiden's shoulder. "You saved us all, son." Aiden stared at the fading, collapsing remnants of the cube. "No, sir," he replied, his gaze distant. "Humanity saved itself, together." As messages of overwhelming joy and hope poured in from a saved Earth, one truth became clear. The war was over, the enemy was erased, and humanity, battered but unbroken, had proven something that no machine could ever compute or comprehend. The human spirit is impossible to delete. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe for more epic tales, and let me know in the comments what you thought of humanity's final stand. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.